Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. They've ignored us while pursuing a radical, big government, big spending, Washington bureaucrats know best agenda. And we've seen what they've done, haven't we? They've piled on debt. They've run up record deficits. They've passed job-killing, freedom-crushing legislation like this healthcare takeover. They've had their say. They've ignored us. They've ignored you. And they've had their say. Well, guess what? In about 64 days, the American people get their say, don't they? You bet they do. And I'll tell you, this is not a partisan statement because it applies to politicians in both parties who voted for big government, big spending, and more of the same. I don't often quote Donald Trump, but every once in a while the Donald gets it right. And I'm not going to try to do an impression of him, but I think they're going to look at these politicians and they're going to say, you're fired. You're fired. And what a record this Congress has. I want to take just a moment because it's important for us to be reminded of what this Congress has done on the policies. Forget the personalities, on the policies. First, the first thing they did, remember back in January of 2009, I know it's painful, but take a trip down memory lane for just a moment. Remember the first big bill? Remember what it was? Call it out. The stimulus bill, the porculus bill, an $862 billion boondoggle. It was a political payoff of the highest order. And we fought that. You fought that. We launched a website and launched events across the country. You spoke out. I think in many ways that was the match that lit the Tea Party revolt. Don't you think so? The very first thing that came out of this Congress.